All right, before we start this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, I have an update with Michael Cargill. Michael Cargill is our guest on the show today, and he has had a lot of things happen since we did the interview, and we are here to catch up with him and to put out some of the newest information about the Cargill versus Garland. So let's get to it, Michael. It's good to see you again.
Hey, it's nice to see you, Charlie.
It's nice to see the freedom behind you as well. You,
Absolutely.
you see what I got, right? Pictures of handguns.
That's okay. That's okay. Freedom in heart.
Oh man. Someday I'll get to free America. Anyway, so it's been a while since we talked. You've had a lot of things go on with your case. Tell us about them. Keep us up to date. Keep what's going on. I know there was some. You won the court case, and then you were supposed to get some relief, and the judge did not say what that relief was, and now you guys are pushing it a little bit further. Correct?
Yeah. So we were supposed to get some type of relief from the judge, and the judge was like, no, he just got upset and just basically said we won the case, but didn't provide the relief. So now the government had until April the 6th to appeal this case to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Hmm.
And so at first we thought the government wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the very last day, very last hour prior to midnight, the government actually appealed my case, the Cargill versus Garland case in the U.S. Supreme Court, basically asking the court to hear this case. And if the court decides to hear it and take it up, then we're on our way to the Supreme Court. And then whatever the Supreme Court decides, it'll be the law of the land. So the first hurdle is to get the Supreme Court to hear the case. And then if they accept the case, then they will hear it and then decide this case for all 50 states, not just Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi.
All right, so let's real quick. So if they do not take it, let's take worst case scenario. If they do not take the case, then what happens then? Do you get your bump stocks back? Can you have them in those three states and down on the Fifth Circuit?
Right. So they can not take the case and kick it back down to the lower court, which means and say, hey, only Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi can have bump stocks. Uh, and then, Michael Cargill can get his bump stocks back and everyone else, in those three states. Or they can, go ahead and take the case and have a trial, and they can decide against what the Fifth Circuit ruled and decide not reverse the decision, and then we're back at square one again.
Mm.
Or they can agree with the Fifth Circuit's decision, and then it'll become legal in all 50 states.
That will be pretty cool, I got to tell you. um, I fired a bump stock once, and it was a little out of control. Like, it was just awkward, But I've tried doing the thing on the belt loop as well with the rubber band, and that was weird too. So anyway, so that is pretty exciting. I think. What do you think the odds are of Justice Clarence Thomas, like, giving this the thumbs up? I mean, the anti-gun states, really the Bruen states, the 6 or 8 states that are affected by the Bruen case, are kicking and screaming about it and making it very difficult for people. So do you think this is going to be a good chance for Clarence Thomas to come back out and say, listen, this is what I said, this is what I meant, and now you guys everyone's going to be able to purchase a bump stock?
Yeah, I think it's in this. I want everyone to remember this is bigger than just bump stocks. What this is, we're saying that the ATF can't create a right law, just like any other agency, whether it's the PA, whether it's OSHA, whatever other federal agency out there. They can't just arbitrarily create a law and make that the law of the land. They're taking that power away from Congress.
Right.
That's actually Congress powers, to do that. And so we have a constitution, we have a set of rules of how things are supposed to happen in this country, and that's how it's done. And so I think, I'm hoping that they actually take this case. I'm hoping that they actually side with us, and so that this will make it, one of the very, important cases of our lifetime.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Absolutely. What was I thinking? Yeah, it would be great for them to side on the, to lay judgment on the side of freedom, so everyone can own these. And like you said, it is so much more. It's spanking the ATF and telling them that, hey, you don't make laws. You're just supposed to enforce them.
Right. And so right now we're hoping that, some other pro-gun organizations out there jump on board and kind of assist me a little bit, because right now it's just Michael Cargill, little old me, gun store owner in Austin, Texas, pushing this very important case to the Supreme Court. And so I'm gonna lean on some of the gun organizations out there, one to assist us legally, as far as sending us their opinions and and how and filings on how this should go forward, and then also assist my attorneys out, and then and like I said, we're doing this all ourselves. So just, that the NRA stands up to goes to bat for us, because we haven't had assistance from the NRA at all.
Sure.
So we nice to get some help there, and some other organizations out there, because right now it's just little old Michael Cargill.
Well, this cannot be easy to do, and it certainly cannot be cheap to do. You've got a couple different places where people can help donate, right?
Absolutely, and they can go to michaelcargill.com to do that. That's michaelcargill.com.
You've got two set up, right? You've got a GoFundMe and a I forget the other one. Go give
just
give
down
give get go.
Just the one, to give, send, go.
Give, send, go. That's it. All right. Very cool. And those are all at Michael Cargill, michaelcargill.com, as is all of your information about you, about all your cases. All of the briefs are on there as well, aren't they? On the website?
Yes, that is correct. So you can take a look at that, and and we have little links to different things, and follow the case. We'll give updates as things change. I'll come back to you as things change, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully this year, I'm hoping and praying that they accept this case in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, I know you're a busy man. Thank you for your time. I appreciate the update on this, and please stay tuned for the rest of the show. You can hear all about Michael and his history and how he got started in this and how all of this came to be. You guys are now just checking this segment out, and it is what's going on right now. So thank you guys very much. Michael, thank you for your time. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today, we are coming to you from Las Vegas, from the SHOT Show 2023, and I have with me Michael Cargill from Central Texas Gun Works, and you got a radio show?
Yes.
You got a lot of stuff going on.
Yes, that's right. So we have a radio show.
First of all, thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely.
I'm glad. So I ran into Tony Simon, and he was talking with you, and somebody's like, hey, this guy's got a bump stock story. And I'm like, got to get him on the show. So the way I see it is this: anybody that's a friend of Tony's is a friend of mine.
Nice, that's good. Yeah, we do quite a bit. So we have the gun store, which is we're an FFL dealer.
Mm-hmm.
We're a full-fledged training facility. So if you need to learn how to shoot, you want to get your gun license, you want to become a security guard, we do all that stuff and sell guns as well. And then also we have the radio show.
And the radio show. So where you guys are in Central Texas? Whereabouts?
We're in Austin, Texas.
In Austin, Texas.
The live music capital of the world.
I thought that was Nashville. Wait a minute. Oh, no, Nashville's Music City, USA.
That's right. We're the live music capital of the world.
Right. Very cool.
Yes.
Now, real quick, how are the politics in Austin?
Well, we're not friends of the elected officials in Austin, Texas.
And everyone thinks Texas is some big pro-gun haven.
Well, Austin is that blue dot in the red
dot
sea.
in the Republic of Texas. Didn't Joe Rogan just move to?
He did. Yeah. So Joe Rogan is there. Elon Musk is there. It's now becoming the new tech capital. A lot of tech companies have moved to Austin. Yeah. And it's moving fast.
That's cool. That's good, man. That's good. All right, so let's tell us how you get into gun stuff, how it led to the Central Texas Gun Works and the radio show, and how did you become a gun guy?
All right, so I served 12 years in the Army.
God bless you.
And
Thank you.
did that for quite a while, 12 years. And then I ETS out of the Army and decided to start working for a telecommunications company out of Austin and then Dallas. And then I started a trucking company after that. And then after that, I opened up the gun store. And so I opened up the gun store because I was tired of, my family members being victims of crime, not having guns, not having the training, if they did carry a gun. So I just said, hey, you know what? I'm going to open up a gun store and I'll start, teaching you guys, make sure you know what the laws are, make sure you're proficient with the firearm, make sure you can purchase a gun.
Right.
And I just did it myself. And that's kind of how I got started. My grandmother at 70 years old decided that she was going to become a nurse. And she went back to college at 70.
70?
At 70 years
70 years old. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 70.
This is like who's it? Who's the lady that did Whistler's grandmother? Who's that? Who's that lady that did that picture?
I don't know.
There was some famous female artist that didn't start painting until she retired.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's a story about Colonel Sanders not starting anything until he retired and realized he couldn't make any money on retirement. So anyway. So your grandma's 70, going back to college.
So she goes back to college and she wanted to become a nurse. So one particular day, she was sitting at a bus stop waiting for a bus to come. And the guy came along, mugged her, and raped her. And so I decided at that point that I was going to make sure that everyone in my family, including females, everyone, had the tools they need to protect themselves. So that's what, made me want to open up the gun store.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's what made me push for, in Texas, we have what they call campus carry, where you have a license. You can carry your handgun concealed on a college campus.
Nice.
So I pushed for that legislation, with everything I had, and it became law. And so now we can carry our handguns concealed in a public college campus.
That's cool.
In Texas. I
did a show recently with Antonia Akafar, and she talked about that as well. That was one of the things she was pushing for.
That's right. And so, we're actually teamed up together. We went to the Capitol together as a matter of fact.
Cool.
Yeah. So we did that, got that accomplished, and then I started looking at different things that the federal government was doing, and also the city of Austin. We filed a lawsuit against the city of Austin, and what I did was I actually filed a complaint with the Texas Attorney General. Yeah. And the Texas Attorney General actually filed a lawsuit against the city of Austin because my complaint was that the city of Austin was not following the gun law of Texas. The city of Austin refused to allow gun owners to carry in their buildings because the law says we can, and they decided not to do it. They were going to violate the law. So I filed a complaint, pushed the AG's office to file a lawsuit. They did, and we took them to court. I testified. They kept me on the stands for a couple of hours. On the stands, they were testifying, going back and forth about the gun laws in Texas and different things. And once they figured out I knew what I was talking about and I stood my ground because I know what the laws are, they did their closing argument, and the judge came back and sided with me and said, Michael Cargill's right. City of Austin, you need to follow the law. Wow. And that's right. And so we beat the city of Austin in district court. And so that's how gun owners can carry in their buildings. And then I started looking at the federal government. I said, things are not right there. You got the ATF, says these are the set of rules that we're supposed to go by, this big, thick book here. Well, then they start changing the rules and going outside the book. Like, hold on, that's not in this book. What are you doing? That's not what Congress says. Congress didn't say anything about you being able to, ban bump stocks, or Congress didn't say anything you being able to ban, a brace or a trigger, or things like that. And so we turned our eyes on the federal government, the ATF, because under the Trump administration, they decided they were going to ban bump stocks. Right. And so because of what happened here in Las Vegas.
Right. Not too far from where we are.
Right.
Which is ridiculous. I have a Texas court story in a long time ago, in one of my previous lives. Someone stole my identity, and I ended up going down to Houston to testify against somebody. Somebody was stealing identities, racking up $40,000-$50,000 of credit card debt at a furniture store, and they got my name and number, and they brought me down to Houston to testify.
Wow.
They I I don't watch these court shows, so LA Law or whatever the hell it is. But I don't really watch court shows. And they pulled me in. They asked me a bunch of questions. I answered the questions, and then I didn't know this, but they ask you the same questions when you get in court.
Right.
So they ask me these questions.
See if you're going to answer the questions the same way.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So one of the questions, they're like, so what do you do? And I'm like, well, my name's Charlie. I teach music in Massachusetts. And they're like, do you do anything else? I'm like, yeah, actually, I'm a firearm instructor, and I'm kind of a pro-gun guy. And they said to me, what do you think of the gun laws we have here in Texas? This is what I said in court. I could smell the freedom when I stepped off the airplane. And the judge laughed, the jury laughed, and the defendant laughed as well.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was great. And I'm like, this is going down in a court document. What do you think of the gun laws? I could smell the freedom when I stepped off the airplane. So anyway, back to Trump and the gun ban, the bump stock ban, which was, my attitude was this. My attitude with the bump stock ban is not only is it crap, it's just an accessory. Even gun folks didn't know what bump stocks were when they came out until this became a news thing. People had no idea what a bump stock was.
And the way I am, I don't care what president does it or says it. I don't care what president comes out with it.
Right.
If you stand on the Second Amendment community, my job is to come out there and put my foot on your throat.
Right.
And so that's what I decided to do. It came out of the Trump administration that they were going to ban bump stocks. So I said, this is crazy. You mean to tell me that something that I legally own, something that I purchased and I have in my house, you're going to walk in, confiscate it? If I don't turn it in, if I don't destroy it, you're going to make me a felon overnight?
Right, because it's legal on this day, but it's not legal on that day.
Correct.
And you're going to make me a felon for this nonsense.
I said, that's crazy. So we filed a lawsuit. I went out searching for an attorney, and the law firm was actually searching for a client. We actually found each other on accident.
Yeah.
And we got together. They filed a lawsuit against the federal government, and boom, this started in March of 2018. And so we went to court. Speed forward a little bit. This 2018, so this took 5 years, almost 5 years. And this case still is not over because it's gone to the federal court. We lost in federal court. The judge in that court, kind of compared bump stocks to a shotgun. This guy was totally out of it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So then we lost that case. We appealed that case to the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans. It goes to the Fifth Circuit. In the Fifth Circuit, it's heard in front of 3 judges. So we drew 3 judges that happened to be Democrat appointed judges. So we lost that case.
Right.
And then we appealed again. They took this case up en banc, which means that it's going to be heard in front of
the whole panel,
the entire panel, all of the justices on that panel.
Yeah.
And which are 16 justices, but we were heard in front of 15 justices. So they came out, boom, 13-3, sided with me. We won.
Very cool.
This is the most important case that we're going to face right now because the ATF has decided to come after bump stocks, which a lot of people said, you know what, we'll give up the bump stock, because we don't really care about the bump stocks.
Right.
So we'll go ahead and give it to them.
I get that it's a novelty.
Right.
It doesn't change anything about the mechanism of a firearm, so it doesn't make it into a machine gun.
Right.
But it's an accessory. And my attitude is, if they're coming after bump stocks, because somebody shot quickly out of the hotel window, supposedly.
Right.
But it's an accessory. When somebody starts picking off people from, from a rooftop, are they going to come after scopes?
Right.
Like, what's the next accessory that they're going to come after?
Right. Someone jumps in the car, hops the curve, and runs over a bunch of people that are walking on Las Vegas Strip right now. Are they going to come after the car dealership and the manufacturer of the car?
Right. Well, are they going to go after the tires? Like really, it's complete ridiculousness.
Right. So we filed a lawsuit against them. We pushed it all the way to the Fifth Circuit. Fifth Circuit said, hey, this is the ruling of that case, 13-3, and then it's not over because we won in that case, and that case is not just about bump stocks. Let's talk about everything that's in that case, in that ruling from the Fifth Circuit. So the Fifth Circuit says, they gave us a definition. They talked about definition of machine gun, and they broke it down and said, this is what a machine gun is.
Right.
When you pull the trigger, you hold the trigger to shoot multiple rounds.
Right.
That's a machine gun. But each pull of the trigger is 1 round. That's a semi-automatic.
Right.
And that's, you have to pull the trigger. The
Every
key is
single time.
pulling the trigger.
Right.
You pull the trigger one round, that's not a machine gun.
It's not a machine gun.
So
Right.
that was important. And then in that ruling, they came out and they said, okay, well, ATF cannot create law, can't write law. Congress does that. And we've all heard of that Schoolhouse Rock song. How a bill becomes law.
I'm just a bill.
It's just a bill.
Just a bill. Right?
I'm only a bill.
And the other thing we learned from Schoolhouse Rock is that there are 3 branches of government.
That's right.
The legislative, the judicial,
That's right.
and the executive.
That's right.
And this is the whole balance of powers and the whole
and the checks and balances.
Exactly.
That's right.
The checks and balances.
Right. And so an agency, can't just create something that the American people have to follow. Congress has to write a bill. Has to go to both houses. The president has to sign it, and that's how it becomes law.
Right.
Not because EPA, OSHA, ATF, CDC in Atlanta just says, hey, we're going to make it mandatory for everyone to wear a mask. We're going to make it mandatory for everyone to get the vaccine. That's not how things are done. Congress has to write a bill, and that's how it becomes law. It needs to go that route.
Right.
And so,
this is all stuff they should be teaching in schools.
That's right. So that's what this case is about. An agency creating law. And because of that, when this case makes it to the Supreme Court, right now it's only Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi that it affects. So if nothing else happens, if it doesn't go forward to the Supreme Court, the government decides not to appeal or gets thrown back from the Supreme Court, that means that only Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi will be able to have bump stocks, and only Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi can keep the ATF from taking our triggers, taking our brace and all that good kind of stuff. This case has set precedents only in those 3 states.
Wow.
So once the Supreme Court takes up this case, then it will affect the entire United States. It will signal to the ATF that you cannot create law. So now, if the Supreme Court rules in our favor, all 50 states, the ATF cannot take your brace, it cannot take your trigger, it cannot take your AR pistol, they cannot come after your different parts and pieces of a firearm there.
High cap magazines, all that kind of stuff.
That's right. Congress has to write a law.
Yeah. How do you afford this?
It's hard. We
You're
have
not selling feed pictures, are you?
No, we have I need to do porn or something.
Right.
We need to go do what do you call that?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans page.
That's a different channel.
I don't think someone will be able. Yeah, you don't want to look at me on OnlyFans. I'm telling you. So I had someone reach make a bunch of comments on Twitter and call me an amosexuals or something of that nature. Well, hey, if it'll bring some money to support these cases, I'll be whatever you want to call me. Call me whatever you got.
Have any of the big pro-gun groups got behind you?
So that's why I'm here at SHOT Show.
Yeah.
This is SHOT Show 2023, and I'm here to join forces with Gun Owners of America. I'm trying to reach out to the NAGR. Trying to reach out to the NRA, because back when the bump stock ban happened and came about, the NRA actually supported this, and they were in support of it because they said, hey, we'll give up that. You can have that, because we don't care about that. But
right, we don't care about it because it's a novelty. But that's
because you give them that inch, they take the mile, and I don't want them taking the mile.
This is the thing with the anti-gun wackos.
That's right.
You legit, you give them an inch, they take a mile. It feels very much like my ex-wife. Like whatever you do, she's not going to be happy.
That's right.
You're not going to do enough. Oh, you did this. Oh, you vacuumed. Well, you didn't do the vacuum and the dishes. You did the vacuum and the dishes, but you didn't clean. You didn't do the dusting. Oh, you vacuumed, dusted the dishes. You didn't make the bed. Like holy crap.
And that's why I like GOA. GOA is that no compromise. No compromise.
So, have you talked with the GOA folks?
Yes. So I talked with GOA. I've talked with NAGR.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to speak with someone at the NRA because I need them. We need to stand together because the Cargill versus Garland case, that case is that case that's going to set precedents. It's going to be the case that all the cases that go forward use as an example to quote in their case of why the ATF can't come after their different products.
That's good. I've got some friends that do radio, and they were saying recently that since the Bruen decision went down in June, which is only 8 months ago or so, Bruen has been cited over 260 different times in some other court cases. So that would be pretty amazing,
right?
To have them come back to Cargill V Garland.
Bruen and Cargill.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, that's the big thing there. That's why I'm here at SHOT Show, hoping that we all can come together and set things aside, our disagreements aside,
Sure.
and work together. Because if we don't stand together and work together, they're going to divide and conquer us.
Yeah, they really
I don't
are.
want to divide and conquer. I'm on a mission. I'm all about playing chess, not playing checkers. And I have a bunch of other lawsuits. This is not the only one. We're suing the FBI. I'm sorry, the ATF, because the ATF they're coming after gun stores and shutting them down.
Over small paperwork
errors. And so, you know how you walk into a gun store and you fill out the 4473, the form where you're going to pick up the gun and do the background check? Well, if you fill out that form, there's a little section that says county. And a lot of people mistake that for a country.
Yeah.
And if you put the country in there instead of the county, then you make a certain amount of those mistakes. The FFL doesn't pick that up. They'll shut you down because of that.
You're falsifying government documents.
It's like, come on.
Are you kidding? Yeah.
This is clearly an error. This is not a mistake where someone gets a gun, unlawfully.
Right.
We're not transferring a gun to a prohibited person.
Of course.
This is just a simple paperwork error, and that should not be caused to shut down the entire gun store that has been in operation for years and decades.
Yeah. Yeah. It's maybe the government needs to look at their documents again and change things around. I know where I come from in Massachusetts. In 2015, we had a Democrat governor. We used to have 3.5 gun licenses. We had a gun license for large capacity rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Then we had a gun license for large capacity rifles, shotguns, and non-large capacity handguns. Then we had one for another license, the firearms identification card, for non-large capacity rifles and shotguns. And then we had one for pepper spray, of all things. And about 2015, we had this Democrat governor who got rid of the pepper spray and got rid of the difference between the class.
For pepper spray?
Yeah, you have to have.
What state is this?
Massachusetts.
Jeez.
They changed it. We're the only state where you had to have a permit to carry a spice.
What is that?
Pepper spray.
They call it. Oh,
right.
Gotcha.
It's the only state where you have to have a
and
permit
it's still
to
in
carry
effect
spice.
today?
It's not. No, he did get rid of it. But one of the things they did is we had the Class A and the Class B license to carry. Class A allowed you to have large capacity and non-large capacity rifles, shotguns, and handguns. The Class B license allowed you to have large capacity rifles and shotguns and non-large capacity handguns. So, and I would teach classes, and I'd say, here we go. With the Class B license, you can have an AR, you can have a Mossberg 500, you can have a 1911. You can have a Walther P22, but you could not have a Glock 19. You could have a Glock 26, but not a Glock 19 because of the magazine capacity.
They're almost as dumb as California.
So in 2015, the governor got rid of the Class A and the Class B license, so it's just a license to carry, and he got rid of the pepper spray license. But the ridiculousness of it is, I lost my train of thought.
That's just insane.
It is completely insane. Okay, I'll keep rambling on here. To have pepper spray. Yeah, it's
a spice.
Stupid. It is so stupid.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So we had.
I didn't know people were that dumb.
Yeah. Welcome to. My line is "Welcome to the Commonwealth."
Wow.
Welcome to the Commonwealth. Now here's the ridiculousness of the license to carry. It allows you to have large capacity rifles, shotguns, and handguns, and large capacity magazines. But our magazines have to be made before September 13th, 1994, when they did the assault weapon ban back in '94. So it's completely ridiculous. I still forgot where I was going, but that's okay.
That's cool.
So you had where do you line up politically?
I do a lot of work for the Republican Party. I'm a Republican precinct chair. At one time, I was a Democrat who actually ran for office as a Democrat.
Wow.
And then they pretty much just got rid of me because I pushed the gun issue too much, and they said, "We didn't want you here. Get out."
Right. We can't.
They literally told me to get out. Why are you here?
We can't have a black Democrat gun owner pushing for guns. Are you kidding me?
Get out. Why are you here?
That's ridiculous.
What are you doing here? So
yeah, I do think I don't know where you think about this, but I think it's hard to talk about guns and not talk about politics. I get that, it shouldn't be a political issue, but it does end up being a political issue because there's one party that wants to come after our guns. And it's not that the Republicans don't want to. It's just less of them, it's less of them that want to. And obviously there's more Democrats I want to.
And a lot of people tell me, I'll get a lot of criticism online. You need to keep politics out of the gun store. I'm like, well,
right,
there's nothing but politics in the gun store. There's nothing but politics. Are you crazy?
Right. Yeah.
So, and we're the gun store the first gun store in the world to start accepting cryptocurrency.
Really?
First gun store in the world.
Oh my gosh.
So we start accepting Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. We start accepting pretty much all the cryptocurrencies.
That's pretty
first
cool.
gun store in the world to do it. We have a Bitcoin ATM machine in our lobby. You can come inside, buy, sell Bitcoin. So yeah,
that's pretty wild, man.
Absolutely.
Pretty wild.
We're all about freedom. We're all about just true freedom.
The more I become a gun guy, the less I care about what people do, as long as it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't care about people's race. I'm not worried about your race. I'm not worried about your sexual preference. I don't care how you identify. My deal is this: if you leave me alone, then I shall leave you alone. And I do like the meme that says, I don't carry a gun to enforce my will on others. I carry a gun so others don't enforce their will on me.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
because if you have the Second Amendment, you can defend all of your constitutional rights.
Right.
With the Second, I can defend the First, the Third, the Fourth, the Fifth. I can defend all of them.
All of them. And
the Second.
Eventually, we might need to.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I'm not worried about that stuff. I'm not a user of cannabis. Never have been. But the more I became a gun guy, the more I'm like, hey, if you want to smoke pot, smoke pot. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. Whatever makes you happy, rock on.
Yeah. And honestly, I think I used to say something a lot a few years ago. That all gay couples need to be able to protect their guns with that they purchase with Bitcoin.
All right, wait a second. Let's go through that again. Let's
break it down.
Right. So gay people should be able to protect their guns with Bitcoin.
That's right. With guns they purchase with Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
With guns they purchase with Bitcoin.
That's great, man. That's great.
So, another reason why the Democrats didn't know what to do with me, they didn't know how to deal with me, is because I'm the black gay gun store owner. So I've been in the same sex couple. I've been with my partner we've been together for over 20 years. Been together for 23 years, as a matter of fact. And so lived in the same house in Austin for 23 years. And, I'm a precinct chair now for the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I'm the president for Log Cabin Republicans of Austin. I used to be the chair for the Texas Log Cabin Republicans. And so, a lot of people don't know how to deal with me, how to take me. But it's all about freedom. You're not going to be able to walk into my house and tell me who I can and cannot sleep with.
Right.
You know why? Because I have a lot of guns that's going to defend who I can sleep with. I don't care what you like. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like that I have a same-sex partner. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to walk into my house and tell me who I can and can't sleep with.
Absolutely. So somebody was telling me, though, I said I was going to do a show with you, and they're like, oh, he's gay as well. And I'm like, so he's black, he's gay. I'm like, if he's left-handed, we can start crossing things off the list, right?
Not left-handed. Sorry. All right. Apologize for letting you down. Apologize for letting you down.
Man, yeah. I don't care, man. Like whatever makes you happy. I'm happy that you're happy, and it's none of my business, man.
Yeah, and that's what really that's what it's all about. It's leave people alone. Leave people in their four walls, in their corner. Stay at their house, stay at their bedroom. Yeah, it's not. And it doesn't matter who you are. What if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're a Libertarian, you're Green Party, whatever. Stay out of my bedroom. Stay out of my house.
Absolutely. All right, how does all of this play into anything else we need to cover about the bump stocks?
That's it. This case, everyone needs to stand with this case, Cargill V Garland, because this case is going to be the case that sets precedents. It will be the case that will be the Bible for all the cases to come. Very cool. Now, how does all of this parlay? Like you're a gun instructor. You're teaching your family and your friends So I'm a federal firearms licensed dealer. I have a SOT, which means that we can transfer machine guns, SBRs and all that kind of stuff. All the stuff I can't have in occupied territory. I'm a licensed to carry handgun instructor. I'm a private security instructor. I can certify level 2 security, 3 security, armed security guards, private security like Secret Service. I'm a school safety instructor, and I'm also a first responder instructor, meaning that I can train first responders EMS firefighters how to carry a gun concealed while they're working as firefighters, first responders, or EMS, and draw their gun from their holster in a concealed carry position, and then continue helping the person that they're helping on the ground.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. And you have a radio show.
And I have a radio show.
This is how I know that I am not doing enough stuff. I got to keep up with people like you. Holy moly.
And I have a radio show.
Tell us about the radio show.
So it's a gun talk show. We talk only thing we talk about are firearms.
Mm-hmm.
We do it once a week on Sundays. It's called Come and Talk It.
Come and talk it.
Come and talk it.
Instead of come and take it.
Instead of come and take it, come and talk it.
Do you have a logo?
We do. And
is it based off the come and take it flag?
Off the cannon. That's
nice.
Right. And
what do you have instead of a cannon?
And in Austin, we have the cannon.
Oh, you have and come and talk.
What we have is the cannon. We have the cannon, but we have a lady, Miss Eberly, who's actually firing the cannon. And because the reason we use her is because back when the reason Austin is still called Austin today is because Miss Eberly decided to defend Austin against some soldiers that were going to take the records from Austin and change the capital and move it to a different location.
Wow.
And she fired the cannon and scared them off. Those soldiers away. They ran away.
Yeah.
And she defended that city. Of all cities, we're talking Austin, Texas, the liberal blue dot in the middle of that Red Sea who hates guns. The reason they have their name is because a lady used a cannon that she had to defend that city, and that's why it's still called Austin today.
Joe Biden said we couldn't own cannons.
Yeah. He needs to come talk to me. He'll learn today.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So the radio show, you talk about gun stuff. Who are some folks you had on?
So
is it just Austin? Is it nationally syndicated?
No,
you put it out as a podcast?
So we're a podcast. We're a live radio show.
Yep.
We're on Alex Jones's network. So we actually are on his website and all that kind of stuff. And we've had all kinds of people on the radio show.
Mm-hmm.
Elected officials. I've had Isaiah Washington. I mean, famous people.
Yeah.
Just a number of people.
That's awesome.
And I like to use it to introduce other instructors that are around the country,
Mm-hmm.
Who a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
So who are great instructors that need that outlet so people can recognize them as an instructor. And because I'd like to give people a help
give
up.
them a hand up.
That's
Absolutely. I've heard someone say the only time you look down at someone is when you're giving them a hand up.
That's right.
That's awesome. All right, listen, we are almost back to where we need to be because I don't know how to get back to where we need to go. And it's not that I intend on getting lost. It's just I'm trying to remember where we are. How can people find you and all of your stuff and social media? How can they help out with your cases?
Absolutely. If you go to, there's one place we have is michaelcargill.com. Go to michaelcargill.com and you'll find the gun store. You can find the radio show. You can find all the lawsuits. We have the cases listed on the website so you can see what they are, the names of the cases and what we're doing, and all that stuff. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy because I'm traveling around. I'm traveling in different places. I'm traveling, all across the country, talking to all different groups and organizations. And, it costs a lot to push a case to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
We're talking $1 million case.
Easy.
And so we're asking people to go to our website, michaelcargill.com, to help out a little bit, because this is not just about guns. It's about any product that you own. A federal agency can walk into your house, ban that product, and make you a felon overnight. And that's not the American way. That's not how our forefathers designed this country and our Constitution.
That ain't cool.
That's right.
Michael, thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you. Listen, we thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching Riding Shotgun with Charlie. You should go to sdrn.us. It's all of your pro-freedom podcasts in one place. If you are not a member of the Second Amendment Foundation, you can join them at saf.org. It's only $100 for $150 for a lifetime membership. These are the people that get behind cases like yours. I don't know if the SAF is signed on with your stuff yet, but
I believe they do. They do help us out. Absolutely.
Very cool. So this is what we do, man. We as Anthony Calandra likes to say, we help those who help us, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.